Welcome back to Retro Podcast. I am here with Jono Crefeld. And Jono, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hey, so I don't know, I'm 26, living in Jersey City. Started seriously filmmaking kind of like 19, because I was an actor for a long time, and then I did not like the way I looked on screen and decided it would be better to step behind the camera, and that has been kind of the thing ever since. So yeah, I don't know.
And where did you get your degree from? Where did you study?
So I started off filmmaking at Ramapo College of New Jersey. I don't know if you know where that is. It's a very small uh liberal arts school. I'm now at Emerson for grad school, but I will always rep Ramapo. They had a very small film program, but um the film program is not prestigious at all. So the people you find there really care about film. So we built kind of a whole team of people, and those are mainly still the people I work with for all of my stuff are from there.
Now, these people you work with, is it like a production company or is it a group of freelancers and collaborators and artists that come together for a project?
Yeah, not a production company. I'm trying to start something kind of early next year, more of a formal production company, but as of yet, um, I mean, I feel like I've had so many like quote companies in my life where it's like two people do an LLC or we make a logo or whatever. So I have like Immaculate Pictures is currently what I'm making movies under, and that's just me and my writing and producing partner, Jen. But mostly it's just my friends and artists I really trust, and people who I've worked on all of my movies with, who kind of get the drill and know how we work. And it's been, I mean, just brief digression, but like I will always be someone who really espouses sticking with your day ones, because it's been a real joy and treat to work on bigger and bigger movies with the same people and watch them go from, people I knew in college, people who were learning the craft, and now they're all working in the industry, and you just see them get better and better, and the movies get better and better, and you're like, damn, like it's very cool to go from, kind of your college friends into like working with seasoned professionals, and it's the same people. You've all grown together.
Very cool, very cool. And speaking of film, you made a short film called The Wright Brothers. Tell me, what's the story about?
So that one is about that was my college senior thesis. That one's about like a dumb guy who his girlfriend leaves him for a much smarter genius guy, and to prove his intelligence and worth to her, he decides to build his own plane and fly it in front of her to impress her. And he and like two of his college roommate friends do that. So that is the plot.
I watched it. I watched it this week, and it's very well done. And was this story in particular based on anything? Was it based on a friend, family member, or was it entirely made up?
Well, not based on anything real. It was based on a real thought I had, where I was at a box office job I was working, and I started Googling like plane materials, and I was like, man, I wonder if I could build my own plane. And then I realized like 10 minutes later that it was insanely stupid and there was no way to actually fly. But uh it was like I wrote it down as like, imagine if a guy was dumb enough to go all the way with it. And then that kind of became the idea.
It's very cool. Now, if you were to ever build a plane or try to build a plane, would it be a model airplane or would it be a airplane where you were like what's it not like an airplane that you would crop dust or ride in, not like that kind of airplane, but like an airplane where it's small and it has the wings and the propellers and would you do something like that or
Well, it was so interesting because we thought we were going to build a functioning plane. I don't know. So in the movie, they build kind of like a thing out of sheets of insulation that's broom handles, insulation, rope. It like vaguely resembles sort of a Wright brothers biplane, but not in any sort of functioning sense. But we thought we were going to build a Wright brother, like a full scale Wright brothers plane for like 6 months. There's this guy in Ohio who reproduces those planes at a really high level of quality. And he sent us, we got blueprints from him. And we were like ready to try to build the plane. And then we somehow we didn't think about this. We asked him how long it usually takes him to build it. And he's like, it takes me and a crew of 10 trained guys 6 months at minimum to build this. Like, so probably if I was to build a plane, long story short, I would go for some sort of glider and I would do it out of like polycarbonate, and I would just try to get like a short flight, like throw it off the side of a mountain or something. I would not get into small engines or uh historical recreations where I'm having to laminate canvas or anything like that.
Understood. Yeah, it's funny. When I was 12, I actually tried to build well, I wouldn't call it a plane. It was more like a glider where you could just
Yeah.
move the wings. I tried to do it. Didn't break anything, thank goodness. But
To go off the roof with the wings.
no, I went off the playground.
Okay, not bad. Did you get any lift? Did you feel your arms raise?
A little bit.
Hey, I mean, it's better than nothing. And it's beautiful. You jumped. You dreamt of flight so much one day.
Now, these short films that you make, do you post like not just posting on YouTube, but do you submit them to film festivals in particular? Or
Yeah, I do. So the Wright brothers did a festival run, and then I have like a 30-minute short film called Two-Headed Animals that is still being worked on marginally, but is going to be sort of a launch product for the production company I'm starting this February, which is going to be called Eek, which is me and one of my very close collaborators are going to we have a big slate of kind of films that are going to be a big part of that. And then What Are We, my most recent short, is going to be completed in around January, and then we're going to do a festival run with it. And then that one is a proof of concept for a feature. So the goal is to try to get funding for a full feature off that.
nice, very cool. And have you ever won any awards for your short films or
Oh, like small stuff. Like I got like best comedy for the Wright brothers. But the festival runs, I haven't done festival runs beyond that with the two films I'm working on now that I'm really proud of. So you've caught me at sort of a building foundation period. So hopefully next year is an award year, because that'll be kind of when we do our runs with the bigger, newer stuff.
now you really caught my attention with the feature idea that you're making and making the proof of concept for. Now, what's the feature about, if I'm allowed to ask?
Oh yeah, no. I mean the feature is about exactly what the short is about. So the short and the feature are both called What Are We? And it's about a man and a woman who are so codependent and so in love that they, through this very strange process, he moves his soul into her body. So I do a lot of sort of magical realism, body horror type stuff at least in my prose work and kind of in my art, and that's starting to move into my film. So the short is mostly just like the lead up to them doing it, and then the immediate aftermath, in the 3 hours after it happens. But then the feature kind of begins with the short, like would begin with the same way, the ritual and it happening in the aftermath, but then it chronicles sort of like a year in their life after they've been joined into one body, and kind of all the fallout and what life is like for them after they've done that. So it's still pretty low budget and intimate, and I don't know if art house is the right word, but it's low budget and intimate and very interpersonally focused, but just has a lot more scale to it. So we're hoping to get that going either next year or in 2 years before our two lead actors get too famous to do small stuff.
And the two actors you're working with are they people you've worked with before?
No, no, they are total two. I actually have not. This is like not a rule for me, but I've never worked with the same actor twice unless they're my friend. Uh, not
Okay.
for any particular reason. Well, number one, um, I don't know. You just like I'm very. I think one of my biggest skills and disciplines is casting. Every time I've felt that a movie I made isn't what I want it to be, it's because I didn't trust my gut fully on casting. Um, so like every time I've gone out and cast a character, someone else has called. And then I also part of me, I don't love casting friends in movies, and I don't love casting people I am too familiar with, because then I think, at least when I'm watching and when other people are watching, I don't want them to have the experience of like, oh, my friend, or oh, someone I know, someone I'm comfortable with. Like I enjoy the feeling of it feeling the person on screen feeling like a new person and feeling very tied to the character because they've never been seen on screen, at least in one of my movies before. I don't know if that's going to be like something I continue with, but that is something that I have thought about, not using the same actor twice.
Well, we just started working on an animation feature called Orlando Monster, and it's based on a screenplay that I wrote that
Yeah.
has been to festivals 3 times, and
Wow.
we're hoping to put the feature out sometime. Well, we just started production not long ago, and
Hell yeah.
hoping to put it out sometime by 2025 or 2026 at least. And we have 2 questions left of the interview.
Hmm.
And for people that want to go into filmmaking or screenwriting, what is the best advice that you would pass on to them?
Um, Figure out how to do it yourself with the resources you have available. I think I see a lot of people um write things that are, would require millions and millions of dollars, or huge, funding, or things that are out of their reach. Um, and like, as much as I encourage you to dream big, I don't think the industry currently is in a place where it really is friendly to outsiders or people who haven't done it themselves. So take what you have around you, figure out what you love, figure out who you love working with, and just try to make stuff. The internet is obviously a very hostile and unfriendly place in many ways, but it also is, a place where you can get your stuff out and find your niche and find an audience. So, um, yeah, I would say definitely. And also, you can find a real love for the things around you and the people around you. I mean, a lot of I'm very grateful for filmmaking because it's allowed me to sort of memorialize people and places I know and things I love, and have, a way to keep a record of those things. Like, I've made a film in every house I've ever lived in, and there's so many friends who I know have worked on things, who have been able to make great stuff in the movies. Like, I don't know. I think it's much more fulfilling to make what you can than to sit on one huge dream that may never happen, that needs, some insane miracle to make it become true.
Mhm. Definitely agree with you on that. And especially when you say that the internet can be, scary. It is very toxic, especially when it comes to social media.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it feels like social media now is not, it's not even a good place for getting art out really anymore. It feels like it's a place that consumes and spits out art and turns it into just kind of amorphous gray mass. I used to be very pro social media and very like, get your stuff out there. No, I don't know. I feel like the key might be trying to find a distribution system outside of at least social media, not the internet at large. But anyway,
I still have
it's my
Instagram, but
soapbox.
I don't go on there anymore. I just post art and that's it. I just post art
Yep.
and promote. That's literally all I do.
That, and I think that is a totally good usage of it, because it can really eat up your time.
But see, the problem is that everybody faces, especially nowadays, which is partly why SAG went on strike, is it's hard to tell if it's really done by a human or not done by a human. Because
Yeah.
with technology and robots and AI, I mean, it's hard to tell who is who, and that's partly why the strike began in the first place.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy that WGA got so many protections against AI writing scripts. Seems like they really won that battle, and I hope SAG gets a similar thing with like digital models of people being created.
Yes, because a few of our members that we're supposed to have on Retro Podcasts, not for the fall because we've already booked everyone for the fall, but for the winter and spring, when that resumes after Martin Luther King Jr. Day of next year. Some of our guests are members of the site community, so we're hoping to
Yeah.
get them interviewed once they could figure out some sort of agreement.
Yeah. Yeah. Huge shout out to SAG. Love SAG. My dad is SAG. Definitely worked with a lot of SAG folks. Weirdly, we I will only say it briefly. Somehow the what are we? The short happened like right as SAG was about to strike. And I don't know how, but I didn't cast anyone SAG. So we were able to shoot. So I do give thanks for that, but mainly I give thanks for the incredible people on the picket lines for both SAG and WJ, because it feels like if the industry is going to survive and people are going to get paid, like those strikes are pretty much the most important thing right now.
Yeah, no one in Orlando Monster, thank goodness, is SAG at the moment. But when we start our short films, because Retro Podcast is going to be doing short films, not next year, but sometime 2025 or 2026, we'll be
Yeah.
starting animation short films and live action short films. And it would be the combination of stop motion animation and Japanese anime with a little bit of live action. And some
Wow.
of our members who we've been building relationships and contacts with, who we have interviewed before, who are SAG related, we're hoping to collaborate with them again for the short films. So yeah, once they could figure out an agreement, we'll be yeah.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed it's soon.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
hopefully
no,
the
it takes years. It doesn't happen overnight.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, especially for I mean, I have a lot of people I know who are either SAG or in the industry and directly affected by it, just to get those people to be able to be making money again. Like, I'm very grateful to them for their sacrifice, but also you want people to be able to be putting food on the table soon.
Oh yes, and keeping a roof over our head and clothes on our backs, and yeah, all three things. Oh, and of course, internet.
That's right.
Yeah,
And yeah, car insurance, blah 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 blah. Phone bill.
yeah. And last question of the interview, since this is a retro show, this is retro
Yes.
related. What was your favorite retro product growing up as a child or an early teen? It could be anything from a TV show, board game, video game, toy, uh, food.
I'm gonna say Uh, I'm gonna say the game. This is I don't know if it's my 100% favorite, but I have the fondest memories of it. So I'm gonna say the game Banjo-Kazooie is probably my favorite retro product. Have you ever played it?
I've never heard of it. Tell me more about it.
What? It's a
I'm
game.
sorry.
It's a
Never heard of it.
N64 game by Rareware, and it's basically a collectathon, but it's about a bear who is friends with a bird, and the bird lives in his backpack, and it's sort of like a Mario-ish style 3D platformer. But it's centered around collecting jigsaw pieces, and there's a whole very complex move set you can do with the bear and with the bird, so it gets very acrobatic. Great soundtrack, great atmosphere, killer game. Put so many hours into it as a kid. Never beat it because at least as a kid, myself as a kid, I sucked at video games really badly. But if you ever get a chance, it's on like Xbox now, and it's been ported to all meaningful platforms. But that is a pretty great one. I will say as a runner up, I will put Ocarina of Time, and I bought an N64 to play Ocarina when I was a kid also. and that would be pretty high on my list as well, retro products wise.
It's a very interesting game and definitely gonna have to check it out. Couldn't stop laughing there because it's a very unusual game.
I'm telling you, it's very popular. Like I'm not alone in this. If you look online, there are legions of fans.
Well, Jono, thank you again for joining today's episode and wish you the best of luck with your short film and getting it made into a feature. And we are looking forward to seeing the final product when it gets finished.
Thanks so much, Ben. Have a great one.
Thank you, you as well.
All right. Bye-bye.